They were laughing over turkey, while my grandson was freezing outside on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving used to be my favorite holiday. Not because of the turkey, or the cranberry sauce, or even the long table packed with relatives pretending to like each other. I loved Thanksgiving because it was supposed to be about family, about warmth, gratitude, and making sure no one felt alone. That illusion shattered the day I found my grandson freezing outside, while laughter echoed from inside my own house. And the people laughing. My family. I'm Harold, 68 years old, retired school counselor, widowed for 7 years. I've spent my life believing that if you raise your children with love and values, they'll pass those values on. That day taught me how wrong I was. It started like any other Thanksgiving. The house was full by noon. The smell of roasted turkey filled the air. My daughter Melissa was in the kitchen, barking orders like a general. Her husband Rick was already on his second glass of wine. Football blared in the living room. Plates clinked. Laughter bounced off the walls. And yet something felt off. I noticed one empty chair at the table. Evan's chair. Evan is my grandson. He's 10 years old. Quiet, gentle, the kind of kid who apologizes when other people bump into him. Since my son Daniel passed away 4 years ago, Evan has been living with Melissa and Rick. Daniel was my only son. Losing him nearly broke me, but losing access to Evan afterward hurt almost as much. Melissa said it was too hard to be around reminders of her brother. Rick said Evan was too sensitive and needed to toughen up. Slowly, without ever saying it outright, they pushed him to the edges of the family. Still, I assumed, foolishly, that Thanksgiving would be different. "Where Evan?" I asked casually, scanning the room. Melissa didn't look up from the gravy. "He's around." Rick smirked, probably sulking somewhere. The way he said it, like Evan was an inconvenience, made my stomach tighten. Dinner was announced, everyone sat down. Turkey was carved, wine was poured, people laughed at stories I'd already heard 100 times. The chair stayed empty. 10 minutes passed, then 20. "Melissa," I said again, more firmly this time, "where is Evan?" She sighed, irritated. "Dad, don't start." "Start what?" He refused to wear the sweater I laid out for him, said it was itchy. Rick told him to cool off outside until he could behave. Outside? On Thanksgiving? In late November. My blood went cold. "Outside where?" I asked, already standing up. Rick laughed, actually laughed. "Front porch, he's got a jacket." I didn't wait to hear another word. I grabbed my coat and opened the front door. A blast of icy wind hit my face. And there he was. Evan sat on the porch steps, knees pulled to his chest, arms wrapped around himself. His nose was red, his hands were shaking. His jacket, thin, frayed at the cuffs, hung loosely off his small frame. His eyes lit up when he saw me. "Grandpa," he whispered, like he wasn't sure he was allowed to speak. My heart cracked clean in half. "What are you doing out here?" I asked, kneeling in front of him. "I was bad," he said quickly. "Uncle Rick said I needed to think about my attitude." "What attitude?" I asked, forcing my voice to stay calm. "I said the sweater made me itchy," he murmured. "I didn't mean to be rude." I pulled him into my arms. He was ice cold. Inside the house, laughter erupted, someone telling a joke at the table. They were laughing over turkey, while my grandson was freezing outside. I took off my coat and wrapped it around Evan, then picked him up. He weighed almost nothing, too little for a 10-year-old. I carried him inside. The room went quiet the moment they saw us. Rick raised an eyebrow. "What's this?" "This," I said, my voice shaking with fury, "is child neglect." Melissa rolled her eyes. "Dad, don't be dramatic." "Dramatic," I snapped. "He's freezing, you locked him outside." "We didn't lock him out," Rick said. "The door was unlocked. You sent a child into the cold as punishment." "He needs discipline," Rick said, shrugging. "The world won't coddle him." I looked at my daughter, my own flesh and blood, waiting for her to say something, to defend her nephew, to show even a shred of shame. She didn't. "He's fine," she said. "He's just sensitive like Daniel was." That was it. Something in me broke, but something stronger replaced it. I set Evan down, pulled a chair beside me, and wrapped a blanket around him. "Eight," I said gently, "you're with me." Rick scoffed, "You're undermining us." "No," I said calmly, "I'm protecting my grandson." The rest of dinner passed in stiff silence. Forks scraped plates. No one laughed anymore. After dessert, Rick pulled me aside. "You can't interfere like that," he said. "You're not his parent." "No," I agreed, "but I'm his advocate." He leaned closer. "If you keep this up, we might need to rethink how often you see him." I looked him dead in the eyes. "Try." That night after everyone left, Evan stayed behind with me. He fell asleep on the couch, still wrapped in the blanket. I sat there watching him breathe, and I made a decision. The next morning, I called a lawyer. What my family didn't know, what Rick certainly didn't know, was that Daniel had left Evan a trust fund. Not millions, but enough. Enough for education. Enough for stability. And I was the trustee. I also had documentation, text messages, emails, photos of bruises I'd noticed and ignored too many times. I filed for emergency custody. Melissa was furious. She accused me of betrayal. Rick called me a traitor. But the court listened. They always do when the evidence is clear. 3 months later, Evan moved in with me permanently. The first Thanksgiving after that, it was just the two of us. We ate turkey sandwiches on the couch. We laughed. We watched cartoons instead of football. And when I asked him what he was thankful for, he said, "You didn't leave me outside." Neither did I. And I never will.